Welcome to the instructional installation video for your ARRMA Metal Diff Transmission Boost Box. For a list of compatible ARRMA vehicles, check out the description below. In your Metal Diff Boost Box you will have the instruction sheet, which will link you back to this video, a decal sheet and two fully assembled Diff yokes with metal gears. We begin the installation by removing the body and removing all four wheels and tyres. Next we're going to remove the centre drive shaft, pull it towards the front of the vehicle to release from the rear, and then you can slide the drive shaft rearwards to release it from the front. Now we're going to remove the power module retaining block with one screw from the underside of the chassis. Once the screw is removed, you can pull on the battery strap to release the block. Now we can remove the power module, use the tab at the rear of the vehicle to unhook the power module, then slide the power module forwards. If it's a little bit stiff, repeat the process until it releases. Now we need to disconnect the motor wires and fan wires. Then set the power module to one side. We will install that later on in the video. Next we're going to be opening the upper bulkhead. To do this, remove one of the outer camber links and the two lower shock mount screws. Both the lower shock mount screws have a retaining washer. Keep everything together when we reinstall it later on. Now we're going to remove four screws from the lower side of the vehicle to split the upper bulkheads. Flipping the car back over again, this will allow us to split the upper bulkhead, pull it forwards, and this will allow you to release and remove the front differential. Set the car to one side. We're going to install the metal differential right now. Now we need to transfer the drive shafts over to our new metal differential. Use a screwdriver down the middle of the drive shaft to unscrew from the differential. And repeat the process for the other drive shaft. Before you reinstall these into your new metal differential, use thread lock at the end of the screw and align the splines of the differential and the drive shaft together. Repeat the exact same process for the other side, using thread lock on the screw, aligning the splines and reinstalling the drive shaft. You will need to apply some gear grease to the teeth of the metal differential to ensure smooth operation. Now we can install our brand new metal differential into the vehicle, check the orientation, it can only fit in the vehicle one way, connect the drive shafts either side before you seat it into the chassis of the vehicle. Making sure the shocks and camber links do not interfere with the drive shafts. Now we can just check one more time that everything is in place and then close the upper bulkhead. Now we can reinstall the 4 lower screws to secure the upper bulkhead. Checking the front drive shaft is still connected, we can reinstall the upper camber link. And now we can reinstall the lower shock mount screws. These are the screws with the washers. Ensure the washers are in place when you reinstall these screws. Everything should be complete for the front end. Cycle the suspension, check for any binding, it all should be good. Now we're going to repeat a very similar process for the rear of the vehicle, removing the upper outer camber link. Removing the 2 lower shock screws, again these are the ones with the washers. Flipping the vehicle over now, we're going to remove 3 screws from the chassis to release the upper rear bulkhead. Flipping the vehicle back over again now, just check to remove any wires, and we can split the upper bulkhead rearwards and remove the differential as we did in the front. Set the car to one side, we're now going to install the metal differential in the rear. Repeating the exact same process as we did for the front diff. Following once again the same process as the front diff, a little bit of thread lock on the screw, aligning the splines of the drive shaft and reinstalling the drive shafts. There is no difference between left and right drive shaft, but there is a subtle difference between front and rear drive shafts. It's recommended to do front and rear diff separately. Once again, we recommend to put some gear grease on these metal gears just to ensure they run reliably and smoothly. And now we can reinstall in the vehicle, checking the orientation of the diff with the chassis components, connecting the drive shafts as we lower it into the chassis. Close the upper bulkhead, ensuring not to trap any wires or camber links. Flip the vehicle over to reinstall the 3 lower screws. Now we want to reconnect the upper camber link. Just check that the drive shaft is connected spline to spline, and then we can reinstall the upper camber link. Next, we can reinstall the lower shock screws. These are the screws with the washers. Once we've done that, we can cycle the suspension just to check for any binding and to check everything is aligned as we expect. Now we can reinstall the power module, place it in the vehicle to allow us to connect the motor wires. With everything now reconnected, we can now reinstall the power module, place it into the chassis and slide it backwards. It can be a little tricky to get it aligned. Rotate the drive shaft until the splines align and it'll click back into place. Now we can reinstall the power module retaining block, slide it from the side until it goes to the center and retain it with the screw from the underside of the chassis. Now we can reinstall the center drive shaft. Install to the front end first, compress the drive shaft to allow it to connect to the rear. We are almost done. Let's reinstall the wheels and tyres. With the wheels and tyres reinstalled, your metal diff transmission boost is fully complete. If you want to see more boost box installation videos, they'll be linked at the end of this video.